Might be one of fucking Skepta's, probably. So yeah, I wanted to. It's a weird angle because I'm basically just talking to myself, and I'm sort of making notes. I'm gonna put another light on maybe. No, this is fine actually. And it's only 10 minutes as well. And I wanted to talk about again is like, why is Skepta the king of grime? I'm going to start a new series of called, I'm going to do this if I can properly, called Growing Up in Grime. About 2004, I started hearing, listening to a new band that was called JME. And from there I heard Skepta. I'm going to talk about all of that, but the reason why I'm making this video is because I'm just coming off a tail end on some stuff that I was writing down about why is it that Skepta's the king? Why isn't it anybody else? Why isn't it someone? Why isn't it Wiley? Why isn't it Devilman? Okay, and the simple thing is this, is that when you're making music, anybody can make music in their mum's basement, but when you're making music and you trying to bring the music to the world, that's the thing that separates the people who just want to do music in their mum's basement and people who are really trying to get a message out. And Skepta's really trying to get a message out. And everybody wants what they want, their fame and their fortune and stuff like that. And it's a difficult game, and I don't want to talk about too much because I've lost my train of thought because it's the third time I've made this video now. But essentially, his word is a vibration, and I keep on saying this, is like, his was a king's game, it was a lion's game, okay? It was trying to bring honour and respect back to the lion, trying to bring pride back to the animal of the anima of love, because after the 60s and Bob Marley and Martin Luther King and the Black Panthers, people started to really hate black music again. There started to be a lot of negative press, and so they went more and more underground, and they kept on referring back to Bob Marley and blues and stuff like that, and there was the odd few people, and there always seemed to be this weird as long as they were as accepted by the crew of, like, accepted musicians, then they were okay. So B.B. King was allowed into the blues crew. It's like, black people invented blues. What do you mean, like, I'm allowed into the blues club? That kind of shit was going on still up until the 90s and still going on today. And Skepta was growing up in the 80s at the same time as me, in the same area as me, roughly London. And I started listening to his music, and it was just basically listening to him struggling to get his sound heard, and how no matter how many times he went to get out the door, there was always someone at the door to stop him from getting his song out, and then they would try and destroy his song so that nobody could hear it, and then they were trying to go after, like, his brother's music too, and they were trying to destroy his career. And it was like, from his perspective as well, growing up as quite a Nigerian family, and I grew up in Streatham, and I had the privilege of knowing loads of, like, Nigerians and their families, and I got to know how strict they are. And when I went over to be a guest for dinner or something, they were on their best behaviour, obviously, because I was a guest, and I always got really, really amazing treatment. But, I'd come out and, your family's really lovely, and, one of my mates would go, no, man, my dad's fucking crazy, he'll beat me with a fucking stick or something like that. And it wasn't a joke, but it was like, after a while, we became friends, we understood, like, oh yeah, your family's really harsh to, like, live with, isn't it? But they're really loving and nurturing, but they're really hard to live with. It's like, I understand why you're such a strong and powerful man, but, like, why you've got such a big chip on your shoulder, kind of, like, about stuff, especially when I've seen, like, even when, you're trying to, in your own family setting, trying to do something, how everything you do just seems to be silenced. you know, and, you know, saying to your dad, oh, I'm not going to be an accountant, I'm not going to go on to become a lawyer, even though you've invested all of this time, money into becoming a lawyer, and you could have been a good lawyer, or a good accountant. And it's like, yeah, but that's not where my music is, that's not where my passion is. And he was playing basically this kind of like this spirit animal of the lion, of like, okay, well, how do you, you know, bring a respectability to a creature like a lion? And with all of the clashes between all the different various musics and stuff like that, you've got to think of it like all of these different thoughts within the lion's head. Do I want to be the devil? Do I want to be a devil? Do I want to be? And if you think about the spiritual anima of a lion, it's not. I mean, it's about pride and honor and love and protection. It's not about being evil and gluttonous and cruel. There are claws to the lion, but they're not. They're there to. There's a necessity. They're not there out of like spite. And lions kill very quickly and efficiently. You know, they don't play with their prey. And all the other grime MCs around at the time, you know, were being very vicious and fighting like lions, but they weren't bringing the respectability of like, at the end of the day, when everybody's licking their wounds, where's that peace over it to say, look, it was all just fun and games. Let's just relax now, sit down, and pass a ceremonial pipe, a spliff, sit down, and make music together. And what we've been fighting through as kings together and warring together will come together, and we'll tell the story in music rather than going out and committing more crimes and murders. And they were like, but we need a respectable face to do that, and no one here has that, because every image of us has been tainted by the fucking police and the feds. You know, everybody thinks that we're this, that, and the other, and this. We need someone who's respectable, that they actually respect, and they're racist. It's like, that's the difference, okay? We know they're racist, so we can play their game and win. And that was when Skepta was like, you are the guy, because you could be a bad boy like President T or fucking Wiley or all of these guys, because Skepta's the baddest, right? But we don't need the baddest. We need someone who can raise their head into the sunlight again. And when I saw him on TV, I've never met the man, and I've never ever seen him. But when I saw him on the advert on YouTube, and I thought, he'd made it for years in my eyes. He made it years ago in my eyes. But when he finally made it, and he did Shut Down, and he did the adverts, and he started to get proper bookings, and finally recognised as a genuine fucking star, I was like, yes, made it. Like, you proved to everybody that, like, you can overcome the fucking worst fucking childhood. I'm not saying you're not the family. I mean, like, growing up in London as a black man. I grew up in London as an Indian, half Indian, and I got shit. He made it, man. So fucking happy. And Wiley made it. And seeing Wiley getting MBE. Well done, Wiley. You fucking earned it, man. Respectability for the people, for the forgotten. They're the real voice of the voiceless, you know. And like, it's the vibration of their music that brings healing. And that's why you know he's a true king. Like a true king. So thank you. I'm going to do more videos, hopefully, about growing up in grime. I'm going to call it Growing Up in Grime, Part 1. Bye.